Hello, everyone. Hello indeed. Thank you for joining us tonight. Welcome to tonight's live stream on my YouTube channel, Tesla Tom's Ludicrous Feed. And I am indeed Tesla Tom. Nice of you to join us today. And happy World EV Day, by the way. Very important day, of course. I'm sure it'll be more important in years to come. But essentially today we celebrate all things electric vehicle and the transition the world has to get there, to get our fleet electrified in Australia and around the world. So thank you again for joining us. And of course, if you're joining us live, make sure you leave a comment in the live chat box. Tell me where you're watching from, which part of Australia or the world. Tell me whether you own a Tesla or an electric vehicle, or are you looking to buy one? And if you do own one, tell me why you bought one. What made you decide to buy a Tesla or EV in general? And if you're thinking of buying one, why are you thinking of buying one for a start? And what is holding you back currently? I'd love to hear from you. The aim of these live streams is to learn from each other, myself included. I have learned so much from my YouTube channel over the last few years doing this, and I'm hoping that you guys have learned something from me and from others as well. So if you're watching this on replay, make sure you leave a comment with an answer to those questions as well. And looking forward to tonight's discussion, of course, and some great conversations, of course, in the chat. And just quickly, if you are thinking of coming on the channel, or coming on this live stream, I'm going to leave a link for you in the chat box. If you've got a mic or a camera set up, feel free to join in the fun. And look, you don't have to have the camera on. You can just have the microphone on. And if you've got a pressing question, certainly come on and we can have a chat about it. I'm sure the other guests would love to see you on here. If you've got a camera on, then great. Happy to have you on as well. So I'll keep posting the link to the live stream to have you on if you like over the course of the night. And of course, if you do have a pressing question, if you don't want to come on, you can also leave either a super chat message or a sticker. As the night gets on and more viewers come on, certainly a lot of chat happens. I've seen that in the last couple of weeks, particularly last week. It was huge numbers of chat messages. So thank you everyone for doing that for me. I think there were 250 messages all up over the course of the live stream over the 70 minutes. So thank you again for joining us. So if you've got a pressing question and you really don't want it to be missed, leave a super chat message or a sticker, and that way we can have you up there for a bit longer. And of course, the more you pay, unfortunately, it's the way it works. But the more you pay, then the longer your comment will stay up there. So of course, do that. And if you just join us this evening, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And leave a comment in the chat. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me whether you've got a Tesla or EV or looking to buy one. And if you've got one, tell me why you bought one. And if you're thinking of buying one, tell me why you want to buy an EV and what's holding you back currently. And tell me whether you've got any other renewable products as well. That'll be great to hear from you. We actually do have our first viewer at the moment. We've got Brent Clark about to join us. So let me just get Brent up very shortly. I can see Brent there in my queue. So I'm going to call Brent up. Here we go. Hello, Brent.
Hi,
how are you?
How are you? I'm going well.
Good. Thank you so much for calling in tonight. Where are you watching from?
Watching from Chatswood in Sydney.
Hey.
And
Nice.
look, really interested in this session I pinged you an email about it because of Tesla charge stations are really important to our customers, which are apartment buildings. And
right.
we're happy to share a little bit later after you've done your spiel. We've got some info from Tesla on their Gen 3 charger, and they've shown us the user interface as well for, say, the manager of an apartment complex. So happy to give a bit of info on that. I don't have an EV yet, but today was World EV Day, and been on a number of live streams and webcasts and webinars today, and this is the last one.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
And so, what's your background again? Just remind our viewers.
Okay, so we're from Watt Block, and basically what we've been doing for the last 7 years is helping apartment buildings prepare for solar, batteries, and electric vehicle charging.
Excellent. So, and then you obviously are there for Sydney clientele in the area.
Yes, Sydney, but we've also helped a number of apartment blocks in Queensland, southeast Queensland, Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, etc. as well.
Okay. Look, I think apartment installation of chargers is actually a huge topic at the moment, as you would know, because there are a lot of people, particularly in the inner city, without off-street parking. Have you met much resistance from apartment strata with installation of chargers?
Yeah, look, it's been a really slow process. If I go back, I first went to the US in 2015 and met with a company called Evercharge that was in San Francisco doing the first apartment block charging system. And then in 2017, we did a project with the City of Sydney, and we helped 80 apartment blocks in Sydney start the journey towards EV charging. And we're now working with 6 other local councils around Sydney as well, and helping to try and prepare. But one really great thing this week was it was the first time I've ever seen non-Tesla electric vehicles parked in apartment buildings in Sydney. So this week in one building I came across a Hyundai Kona, and in another building came across a Mercedes EQC.
Awesome.
So yeah.
That's good. As you know, I'm not, obviously my name is Tesla Tom, but I'm all for EVs, all varieties, agnostic, happy to have them on the road. Definitely. Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks, Brent. Well, thanks for joining us today. And Lee, why don't you leave, we'll send me an email with your details, and I'll add that in the video description after the broadcast. Thanks, Brent. Okay. Take care. Cheers. That's great. Thank you, Brent, for joining us there. And of course, if you would like to join us on the live stream with a comment about charging, or if you've got any pearls you want to share, please click on that link there. I'll just put that in the comments section. So thank you, Brent, for joining us. I'll leave his details in the video description for later on the replay. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, thank you very much. Tell me where you're watching from. Whether you've got a Tesla or an EV, please leave a comment in the chat box if you're watching live. Otherwise, if you're watching on replay, please leave a comment to tell me where you're watching from and whether you own an EV and whether you're considering an EV or a Tesla. Now, I have mentioned super chat or super message. So if you are looking, if you would really want to ask a question, if you don't want to go on the live stream, that's fine. But if you leave a super chat, I'll certainly your question or your comment will certainly come up easier. And I'll show you what I mean by super chat. I'll just share something which I missed last week in 1 second in the live stream because I didn't get around to it. But if I just share a super chat message from last week because I missed it. Here we go. All right, let's see there. So Adam West was one of our commenters last week, which posted a super chat. He asked, "All the Cybertruck pass regulations here, I've heard it's too wide for our roads." I have heard from people who've read the ADR, I think it's called. I think it stands for Australian Driving Regulations. I think the Cybertruck currently can be allowed on our roads in its current form. I mean, that's the rules. Whether the government will pass that is another issue, but that is, I think, from what I've heard from, in fact, my good friend, Sid EV, one of my Phantom Lane 4 podcasts hosts, who I help on Wednesday night to host that show. But he's and him and his wife, Sally, both are on that show, and they're very adamant that it will pass current regulations at the moment. So that's what I've got at the moment. I want to show you guys quickly as well, just a snippet from the Tesla Owners Club of Australia. If I can find it, here we go. For World EV Day, they showed a video. I'll just quickly see if I can find it. Here we go. So World EV Day was today, and I've just got a quick video which I want to show. I'll just press play. Here we go while we talk. I'll have this in the background. Yeah, so that's World EV Day. They just got some pictures of Teslas from the club. So that's yes. I'm sorry. I've just read Gary Young comment. I'll just put it up here for you. Gary says ADR stands for Australian Design Rules. Sorry about that. That's what ADR stands for. Thank you, Gary, for doing that. And And Charles Gregory, hello Charles, thanks for joining us. It's a semi-truck, not Cybertruck, which is too wide for our roads, sadly. Yes, I'm pretty sure I've read that as well. Yes, so the Cybertruck's okay for now, but the semi is a bit too wide at the moment. All right. Got a question here from ACT Nerd. Tesla Tom, are you interested in electric buses? I absolutely am. I know there's some around in Sydney at the moment. Unfortunately, due to public health restrictions, I'm not able to go out and have a look. But I think there are some running around Sydney, particularly in the city. So once lockdown ends, I will go and have a look and try and find them in Sydney. I think there is actually a company making electric buses at the moment in Sydney. So for sure, we'll certainly go out and have a look at them. All right, so let's have a look at some of the comments here. Well, this is running in the background. Here we go. Brody is asking, before people start charging their Teslas, why do they always double tap the tail light? Oh, I'm not sure what you mean by that, Brody. Why do they always double tap the tail light? Might have to expand on that. I have not done that myself. Do you mean just tapping the charger port? Because if you tap it, that on Model 3 particularly, it does come up. So yeah, anyway, you might want to expand on that. Some nice pictures of Teslas there. Yeah. Got some, Greg Wilson says, good news this week. You can now drive from Melbourne to Mildura much easier as 2 new chargers have appeared in Oyun and Wycliffe. Sorry about that. I didn't pronounce that right. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, I know Teslas are putting chargers in everywhere. And, I mean, currently you've actually got a few networks in Australia at the moment. Not just Tesla superchargers. But having said that, at the moment, for those of you who don't know, I guess the Tesla Model 3 is probably the most versatile car at the moment because you can access the non-Tesla charging networks. So you've got ChargeFox and EV at the moment. So not just the Tesla superchargers. So that's good to know. And if you're sort of tossing up between Tesla and another brand at the moment, although having said that, Elon Musk I think has said that he is potentially going to open up non-Tesla vehicles to use Tesla superchargers in Norway. But for now, if you want a car that can charge at all the different networks, then I think the Tesla Model 3 is probably the way to go. And I think Tesla Model Y will be the same because they've got the CCS2 plug as well. There you go. All right, so there's some more nice pictures there from the Tesla Owners Club of Australia. EV Day montage they've got going there. Some nice Teslas there. And those of you who have just joined us, welcome indeed. Hello. Nice of you to join us tonight. If you're watching it live, make sure you leave a comment. Tell me where you're watching from and whether you own a Tesla. If you do, why did you choose a Tesla? And also, I remove this. If you are thinking of buying a Tesla or an electric vehicle, then make sure you tell me why you are doing so. All right, let me just remove Greg's comment because we have a super comment, a super message. Super chat message. Thanks, BNL. BNL has pledged $5, and he says, or he or she says, why install a Tesla wall charger versus a 3-phase outlet for home charging? Now, thanks, BNL, by the way, for doing that. And of course, if you have just joined us, we are doing super chats tonight. If you want to ask a question that will stick out prominently like this, then you can, of course, add some money to that chat, and it'll stay up there a bit longer. All right, so why install a Tesla wall charger versus a 3-phase outlet for home charging? You certainly can do either, by the way. I guess the promise of a Tesla wall charger, which is, I guess, the official Tesla wall connector product, is that the Gen 3 charger has the potential to be potentially linked to other chargers one day. Particularly, if you've got 2 Teslas or 2 EVs one day, and if you've only got a certain amount of load in your house, then potentially the 2 Tesla wall connectors can talk together. And monitor the load that way. That way you don't overload the house. But if you've just got the one car, a cheaper option, by the way, a Tesla wall charger will set you back about $700 currently, Gen 3 charger. And then you've got to pay your electrician to come in and install that. Probably looking at another $1,000 to $2,000 depending on how long the run is to the meter board. Whereas a 3-phase outlet, I suppose you've still got to install a 3-phase run from your meter board, so that will still cost you, but the actual connector is cheaper. So I think the installation is not going to be much of a saving between the two, but the actual plug can connect to your universal mobile connector. And that's only about $100 from somewhere like EVSE. And also at the same time, you've got to actually take out your mobile connector every time. So if you don't want to have the hassle of that, you just want the wall charger, you can just plug in, set and forget, then it could potentially be worth the extra money. So that's my 2 cents on a Tesla wall charger versus a 3-phase outlet for home charging. By the way, guys, if anybody wants to come on the chat to chat to me, whether you've got a camera or you don't, if you've just got a mic, no problem. We can just talk. That's not a problem. I'll leave a link to the live stream there for you if you want to come on and chat. Here we go. All right, we've got Scott. Hi, Scott, good friend Scott, who's come on. Says Tom's Model S is 6 years old and still has tons of rage. I assume Scott is replying to someone who might have said, what's battery degradation like? Yes, that's very true, Scott. My Model S is now 6 years old. It's a 2015 car, and I haven't officially done a full range test yet, but on estimate, it's probably lost at the most 5%. Not even that in the last 5 years of ownership. I had it secondhand. So that is, that's good news for me. And I probably should take it on a road trip once lockdown ends, once we're allowed to get out and about. I should probably go through my my home charging situation as well. 1 second. So with my 2 Teslas, we've actually got 2 3-phase wall connectors at the moment, one on each wall of the garage. And I did this recently because I was on an AGL $1 a day plan, and that's been cut as of last month. And so now I'm with PowerShop, and PowerShop are offering quite a cheap charging rate from midnight to 4 a.m. We're looking at, I think, like 6 cents per kilowatt hour, which is fantastic. And by the way, billing for charging is the same as your billing for electricity at home. It's per kilowatt hour. So if I want to maximize the amount of charging in that window between midnight and 4 a.m., then I want a fast charger, like a 3-phase charger. So I've got one on each wall, and it will charge both cars at 3-phase, maximum 11 kilowatts. And so far, so good. Obviously, we're in lockdown, so we haven't been driving much, but it has been pretty good. It's been charging very quickly, and well within the 4 hours for each night. And I've worked it out. Most of my driving during the day, for most of my urban driving, I'm going to easily get 4 hours a night of charging, no problem. All right. Guys, welcome. If you've just joined us, leave a comment. Where are you watching from? Tell me. And whether you own an EV or a Tesla, whether you're looking at buy one too. And this forum is we're here to learn from each other, ask questions, and of course, learn from each other. I've learned so much from you guys over the last few years, and we'll certainly get to some comments. And we actually have a caller. We've got Ryan at the moment. I can see him in my little screen there, so I'm going to admit Ryan very soon to my chat. So here we go. Thanks for doing that, Ryan. Hello, Ryan. How are you?
Hey, Tom. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm doing well. How are you going?
I'm very well, thanks. And look, I've been seeing your comments over the last couple of streams, so thanks for joining us and thanks for commenting too. Appreciate that. Where are you calling in from?
I'm based in Melbourne, so we've had a white Model 3 since May this year and been loving it. Obviously, we're in lockdown just like you, so quite restricted. We can't do too many road trips, but nonetheless, we've been giving it lots of love in the garage and keeping it nice and clean.
Fantastic. And congratulations, by the way. I know March was quite a while ago, but time seems to have flown tonight at this year. So
yes.
Yeah. And which Model 3 have you got?
Just a standard Range Plus with the white interior. So yeah, absolutely loving it.
Yep. Fantastic. All right. Have you got a question or anything for me?
I do.
Yep.
We're currently just looking at trying to install some off-grid equipment into our new place, and I was kind of interested to know what the integration is like with the Tesla Powerwalls, and it's something that I've kind of struggled to understand online. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it, whether owning a Tesla and therefore installing a Powerwall is going to be beneficial.
Yep, great question. And I've got to say, so I've had my Tesla Powerwall 2 now for as long as my Model S, so since 2016, so about 5 years. And I've got to say the software has actually improved with the latest app update. So in the past, if you had your Powerwall 2 at, say, 100% at the end of the day, and you go and charge your car, it's going to drain your Powerwall 2 pretty quickly, right? And that's potentially annoying. I mean, I know that's what it's for, but if you got a cheap rate, for example, like I do with the PowerShop, you kind of want to use the cheap rate to save your battery potentially for the next day if it's a rainy day or a cloudy day. That was what was annoying me the most. But since the software update, I've noticed that it's actually saving for some reason. I've got it on time-based use, and it's saving that battery like at nighttime now, so that I can use the battery the next day, or if it's a cloudy day, and it's using the cheaper electricity, which kind of blew my mind. I couldn't believe it was doing that. It's only just recently done that. But apart from that, you can't really integrate it too much more with your car. Like not like the Zappy, where you can sort of use excess solar to charge the car. It's not that clever yet. I'm hoping that one day it will do that. That's the only thing. Yeah.
Interesting. That's so cool to hear. I mean, lots of tidbits there that I didn't even realize. So yeah, I'll definitely keep looking into it. I know that they're a little bit more XY than some of the other battery packs, but yeah, they certainly seem amazing. And integration with the app is so good.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Have you seen some of the graphics?
Just with this latest update?
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I don't think any other batteries can integrate that well with your Tesla environment. So if you want, like Apple, if you want all Tesla, then obviously Powerwall is the way to go.
Yeah. For sure. Oh, thanks for having me on, man.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Have a good one. All right. Thank you, Ryan, for joining in. That's great. So if you want to come on the show like Ryan, definitely I'll leave a link here in the chat window. That way you can come on and ask a question or share your experience with a Tesla or anything like that. It would be good to have you. I was talking about charging, and if you've got any specific questions about charging, please feel free to ask that question. What I will do is actually show you something from the Tesla Owners Club of Australia. Let me just share the screen here. Here we are, charging your Tesla. So this is from the Tesla Owners Club of Australia, which, by the way, is a great club if you want to think about joining a club with other Tesla owners. Very useful. But if you are super confused, like I was when I first got my Tesla, about charging, about kilowatt hours, kilowatts, type 1, type 2, DC, AC, all the rest of it, it's a whole new language. This is actually a really good explanation on how to get your head around all those terms, because the sooner you understand what charging is about, then the more effective, I guess, the more efficient you will be with your charging. And you'll soon realize that most of us actually just charge at home, and you realize which cables you need to carry with you in your car. This is just a great document. So if you haven't read it yet, I'll try and leave this in the video description after the live stream, and it's a really good read. Obviously, I won't go through it all, but what I will try to do is actually do a little exercise which I had set up, and I have no promises. This may or may not work. So I'm going to try and do a bit of scribbling on my iPad and see whether I can share my screen with you. This is always fraught with danger, technology. Let me just kill the screen here. Let me see if I can do this live. Technology. Love it. It's good and bad, isn't it? No, it's generally good. Let's just call up this app here. And let's see whether I can share my screen with you. Yeah. Let's see. Keep chatting, guys, by the way, if you've got questions. Here we go. Yep, Scott says, great EV charger at the Power Shop, Tom. Yeah, 6 kilo. I kind of agree, Scott. I haven't seen any anything cheaper than that at the moment, to be honest with you. It's been pretty good. Yeah. It's been, I can't, I mean, obviously, I think Amber might be something you can look at if you want to always, if you want to always monitor your rate, then that might be the way to go. But for me, obviously, with a busy family, I don't want to be looking at the Amber rates all the time. So that's why I chose Power Shop. And I have done a video on the fact that it's probably better for me with one EV at the moment. If you've got two EVs, I think the AGL plan might still be better, but for me, Power Shop seems to be the way to go. Okay, so all right, here we go, guys. I'm gonna try and share this with you as they all watch with bated breath. Oh my goodness, this is gonna absolutely work or absolutely fail. Oh, here it is. It's up. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me there. So I'm gonna try and explain to you how I understand what about EV charging basically, and this applies to both Tesla and electric vehicles. I've thought about this many times, and this is the way I'm going to simplify this in my head. And I think this is probably more useful for new owners and potentially new and people looking to buy an EV as well. Okay, so electric vehicles. There's only really two types of chargers. I know the media talks about fast chargers and slow chargers, but in my mind, there's only really two. There's AC and there's DC. Okay. And the magic number for me is 25. I'll explain to you why 25 is the magic number in 1 second. So you've got AC and DC. Generally speaking, DC chargers are what you would use in my opinion, two scenarios. Okay, maybe three. Three scenarios. So, and by the way, I'll go through what examples of DC chargers are. So we've got, all right, so we've got Tesla superchargers. I'm sorry about the writing. It's normally better than this, but I'm just writing with my pen here. And then we've got ChargeFox, that's another network. Oh my goodness, this is terrible writing. ChargeFox, and then you've got like EV, that's another type. Then NRMA. So, and generally speaking, at the moment in Australia, from what I've seen, the major type of DC charging is tritium. So if you see a tritium box, and these things are normally huge, by the way, and they sound really noisy when they're on. They've got big fans. That's because they're basically feeding DC power directly into your car. Right, your car is DC. Teslas and other EVs generally are DC. DC chargers. So DC batteries. So it's feeding directly into the car. So that's why it's fast. It's able to. You don't have to, invert that type of electricity. And from what I've seen, I haven't seen any any rate lower than 25 kilowatts. So that's why 25 is the magic number. If you see a charging rate over 25, it's going to be a DC charger. All right, so this is kind of, and also you generally have to pay for these things. So not to say AC chargers don't have to pay, but usually with DC charging, you've got to pay. The only free one at the moment is NRMA in New South Wales anyway, and I think they're looking at charging as well, or at least limiting it to members. So that's DC charging, usually pretty fast, and very noisy, big units. AC chargers. Now, AC chargers are basically anything in that you install at home. So it's very unlikely you're going to install a DC charger in your home. It's probably impractical. It's huge, and you're going to draw a lot of power to your home. And also it's expensive. I think we're looking at like hundreds of thousands of dollars to install just a DC charger. And you probably don't need one. Like no one needs to charge that quickly at home. If you've got off-street parking, you're probably just going to need to charge overnight. And that's plenty, really. So AC charging, you've got single phase. So I'll just write single. Oh my goodness. I need to get a better Apple Pencil, don't I? Or you've got three phase. So three phase, single phase. And so three phase charging is maximum of 22 kilowatts, whereas single phase is 7 kilowatts. So theoretically, it's 3 times as fast for single phase, obviously. But just keep in mind, you are actually limited by your car's charging capacity or charging inverter. So the Model 3 max is, so the Tesla 3 is 11 kilowatts max. And actually, most EVs at the moment in Australia are only single phase, from what I've seen. So I mean, not many three-phase 22 kilowatt cars at the moment. All right, so you're generally going to see AC chargers in shopping centers, hotels, restaurants, other proprietors, and I guess it's kind of a value add to their business having an AC charger in their premise while you eat, shop, whatever. You can charge the car on the side. So I think if it's a small box, this is just generalizing, it's probably going to be an AC charger, whereas with a DC charger, it's going to be big. And I gave you 3 reasons why you would need a DC charger. And I would say road trip is one. That's the first reason. The second reason is, I would say, if you don't have off-street parking. So off-street parking, we talked about that with Brent before. So off-street parking, or no lack of off-street parking. And the third reason is if you've got a bucket load of credit. I don't want to blow my own horn, but yes, I do have a few credits there. But thank you very much, people who have been using my referral link. It does add up, so thank you again. So if you've got lots of credit, you don't want to pay for power, you can go to your nearest supercharger. I kind of have a supercharger nearish to me, but by the time I drive there, charge and come back, I don't know whether it's worth my time or not. So I'll probably save these up for a big road trip I'll do, hopefully when lockdown ends in New South Wales anyway. So I hope you guys make sense. And Gaffer makes a good point here. I'll just put this up. Good point, Gaffer. Let me just lost my mouse here because I'm sharing my screen. Here we go. Gaffer says usually good form to buy something from someone who supplies you free AC charger. That's very true and a great point, Gaffer. People have asked, like, how come these are free? I think they're free because they've given EV owners a reason to come to their to their business, and I think if it's just good, I think it's courtesy to either buy something or eat there rather than just using the charger. I just wouldn't feel right myself doing that. All right, well that seemed to work reasonably well off my bad handwriting, so I'll just remove that. So I think if you're going to use someone's charger for sure, I would buy something as well. All right, guys. Well, if anybody else has any other questions, don't forget to come on the chat or come on the show or leave a chat. And also, I think about adding a super chat as well, super message or super sticker to support the channel. It's obviously, this channel is independent. We'll try to keep it independent. And obviously things need to be paid, like subscriptions and equipment and things like that. So again, thank you very much, guys, for joining tonight for the live stream as well. We've got a comment here from Jason who says, I remember years back talk of not doing too much fast DC charging on Teslas due to battery degradation. Is that still the case? Good question, Jason. That's kind of what I grew up with as well. Having had my Tesla for a few years, I've kind of limited my supercharging for that reason. Although having said that, I have encountered a Tesla chauffeur company who pretty much just supercharge their Teslas all the time. So and I think there hasn't been much degradation with their cars. I think they've reached over 250,000 kilometers with their Model S. So I don't know actually whether the new LFP batteries from Shanghai Gigafactory, the same thing applies to them as well. If anyone else knows or has read anything else, let me know. But I mean, if you are living off street, if you don't have off street parking, like if you live in an apartment or something, then you've got no other choice. You probably have to DC charge pretty much all the time. So yeah, I think if you got to do it, you got to do it, right? But yeah, I only really limit DC charging to long drives for a reason I explained earlier. Just it's not worth it for me to go out and supercharge all the time, despite all the credit I have, and also I just leave the DC chargers for people who need them. Here's a question from N. N asks, are there any downsides to buying inventory stock as opposed to placing a custom order? I don't know. I mean, I've had a look at some of these inventory stock. I don't think so, personally. I think, if they're pretty much brand new cars, right? I think inventory is for people who ordered and for whatever reason they don't want the car anymore and it's just sitting there in the showroom or service center, and they're a brand new car. If you don't mind that particular car, if you're not fussed, if you don't need a custom car, then yeah, I would go for it. Actually, nothing wrong with buying secondhand. I think the Model 3 is the first time I've actually bought. We've actually bought a secondhand car ever. We've always bought sort of showroom floor stock. So yeah, that's my question. Oh, that's my answer. Good question, by the way. Yeah, here we go. We've got a comment here. It says Praveen says, I've got inventory stock and it is absolutely fine. Yeah, absolutely. I cannot agree more. If you're just joining us, by the way, the numbers are going up. I can see. Maybe I should just start later. No, I shouldn't start later. I've got to start at 9. 9 is a good time. The kids have gone to bed. So if you just join us, if you're joining us live, leave a comment in the live chat, or if you're joining us on replay, then leave a comment telling me where you're watching from, whether you own an EV or a Tesla, or whether you're looking at buying one, any other renewable products like solar panels, batteries. Why are you choosing an EV, and or why are you considering an EV? Are there any factors? This is what I want to know. Are there any factors that are stopping you from switching over to EVs? Like, what are we talking? Range anxiety, the price, just bad press, Tesla's blowing up, hitting emergency vehicles on the side of the road on autopilot, things like that. What is stopping you from buying an EV? Want to know that? That'd be great. And if you want to ask a question, leave a super chat, of course. That'd be great. I appreciate if you subscribe, if you support the channel, subscribe, of course, as well. And because obviously we need to meet. We'll keep the channel independent as much as we can, just to meet costs like equipment and subscriptions and things like that. So we appreciate that if you could support the channel. And if you really want to come on the show and ask a question, like we've had Brent today and Ryan earlier, then please, by all means, join us here. I've just left a link there in the comments section, so I'll just put it up here. If you want to really come on the show, please do. I'd love to have a chat with you as well. All right, here we go. Praveen, another question. Can you suggest any way to get referral kilometers? Not many in my circle are ready to jump into an EV yet. Okay, so I'm not going to suggest how you can get referral kilometers, although having said that, I think talking about it does help amongst your circle of friends and colleagues. I mean, like all of you, I do have chatted a lot about Teslas in my workplace and a circle of friends, to the point now where I just don't say anything anymore. But people just, when they see me, they want to talk about Teslas. I think I'm just a walking ad for Teslas. So yeah, I think you end up being that as well, like myself, if you jab on and rabbit on about Teslas enough. Gaffer, thanks Gaffer, by the way, and thanks for being a moderator too tonight. Appreciate that. Gaffer has pledged $2 as a super comment. Thank you so much, Gaffer. Long-term supporter of mine. Thank you very much. Thoughts on charging and different battery chemistry? I assume you're saying. Great question. Yep. Let's talk about that. So those of you who may not know, so over the last, basically as long as Tesla's been a company, they've been using NCA batteries, which is nickel cobalt. I think NCA stands for cobalt. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's cobalt. But recently in Shanghai, they've been using LFP, which is lithium iron phosphate, different battery chemistry. And they are now recommending for Model 3 SR Plus vehicles from Shanghai with an LFP battery to charge to 100% regularly. So if you have a new SR Plus, then from China or Shanghai, then you probably need to charge your car, maybe not every day, but maybe once a week. I think that's kind of the trend I've read on other places, to charge your car once a week to 100%. Whereas in the past with my Model S and our Model 3, we don't charge to 100%. I leave it at 80% at the most, because the thinking is that you don't want to leave your car at 100% for too long all the time. It puts a strain on the battery, reduces longevity, things like that. So yeah, I think that's the difference. That's the main difference. Charging rate, I've done a few videos on charging rate for SR Plus and the long range battery from China, and seems to be fine. I think there's no difference. There was some skepticism on charging rate and things like that, but yeah, I think it's okay from what I've seen so far. But then again, we've only had SR Plus from China since I think early this year, so early days yet, but so far so good. Thanks, Gaffer. Appreciate that. Thank you again for supporting the channel. Yeah. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions I can go through. Okay, Milton Fox. Here we go. Milton, thanks for this comment. What's stopping me from going EV is the distance. Canberra to Victoria in a day, and Canberra, Sydney return, and price. So let's address price currently. Look, EVs are more expensive than their ICE counterparts currently. So Model 3 you're looking at in New South Wales, once the EV legislation passes, you can get a Model 3 White SR Plus for about $60,000, maybe just a smidge under $59,000 for an SR Plus Model 3. The cheapest EV is the MG, slightly less range. I think you're looking at 200 kilometers real world. Can you drive a Model 3 between Canberra to Victoria in one day? Canberra to Sydney, return one day. You can certainly get from Sydney to Canberra in one day, one charge, no problem at all. I would suggest probably charging when you get to Canberra or Sydney, vice versa. You won't be able to return. Can an ICE car return in one day? I suppose it could. If you can find somewhere to charge it, whether it be an AC or a DC charger, then yeah, I think it's easily going to be able to return. Because if you got a DC charger, SR Plus will recharge in about probably in about 45 minutes, 100%. So I think that's not a problem. Canberra to Victoria, Canberra to Melbourne. Has anybody done that journey, by the way? Anybody in the chat done a Canberra to Melbourne journey in one day? You probably couldn't in a standard range plus, just off the top of my head. I'll have to plug it into a better route planner to find out, actually. So if anyone is in the chat that can see that, just do it for me. That'd be great. But you probably have to stop at least once in that trip from Canberra to Melbourne. To regional Victoria, you might be able to get there. But yeah, I think Canberra to Melbourne is probably a bit of a stretch in one day. I suppose if you had a diesel vehicle, you could probably get there in one day. So good question, Milton. Yes, that's probably range is probably an issue. But yeah, look, if you really need to be in a hurry, yes. But I think most of us, well, not most of us, but certainly in my situation, if you've got a young family, at least, I'm going to stop anyway. So it's not a big deal for me. Gaffer says, I've done the Sydney to Melbourne trip a few times. Yep, absolutely. I think a lot of us have done that trip, Gaffer, that's for sure. And it's certainly possible. George Pritchard asks, Tom, do you think the new even faster superchargers will come to New South Wales instead of only being in Tasmania and Queensland? Good question. So a little birdie has told me that I think all new Tesla sites will be version 3s, I believe. I could be very wrong, but I thought I heard that. It could be my fuzzy lockdown brain, but I thought I heard that before lockdown that all new chargers, Tesla chargers installed in Australia will be version 3s, which for those of you who don't know, that's going to be the limit will be 250 kilowatts for those version 3 chargers. Currently only in Victoria and Tasmania, and there's one in Queensland too, I believe. So good question there. Good question. And I think Tesla has a map on upcoming chargers too. So I will see if I can find that, add that to the description as well, the Tesla supercharger map. I was trying to find it earlier tonight. I was didn't quite have a look at that. I am Megatron. Tom, is it true that with current Tesla EVs, once the car gets to 8 years and 1 month of age, you are more likely to have to put in a new battery for $20,000, $2,000 labor, and $18,000 battery cost? Yeah, look, the battery warranty is 8 years currently, and I think there is a kilometer limit as well, 160,000 kilometers for Model 3. My Model S is coming up to 6 years of age. In fact, I think it is past 6 years of age now. And as I said before, there's no range degradation or no significant range degradation that I can see. I don't know how much the cost of a new battery is in Australia. I have to get in touch with someone who has had that installed. Yeah, I mean, hopefully I never have to reach that point. But I think in the US, I've heard that is about the going rate. That might be 20,000 US. So it might be more expensive here. I mean, that's not necessary, right? Like, I mean, I know the warranty's 8 years, but you don't have to like hold it to that. You don't have to think, oh my goodness, I've only got 2 years left on the warranty. I definitely have to change. I've got plenty of appliances at home that go past the warranty. It's just, I guess they must do a standard deviation curve and go, okay, most batteries are going to die at this point. This is the warranty. I don't know. I'll have to find out for you, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Well, I'll tell you in a couple of years anyway. Good question. Here we go. Ollie asks, with the Tesla Model Y, do you have to pay for rear heated seat? I assume that says. I'll have to look. I'll have to look at the Hong Kong configurator for the right-hand drive Model Y. I don't think so from memory. Maybe it was just for the long range, you get the rear heated seats. Maybe it's just the rear heated seat for that. You don't get that with the standard range. I know you get premium audio for both cars, for both SR and long range for Model Y, so that'd be cool. That's not that big a deal for me for rear heated seats. Doesn't get that cold where I am, but I can understand why you'd want that in some of our colder climes in this country and overseas. That's for sure. And Sid EV, Sid says, Rob says, no, batteries are fine well after warranty expires. Yeah, that's basically what I said. Absolutely right. You don't have to think it's going to die after 8 years. Awesome. All right. All right, Gary, good question. By the time I need a new battery, there'll be lots of aftermarket suppliers. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, actually. Charles says for Model Y, I think heated steering wheel and rear seats can be enabled post-delivery via the app. I hope so. That'd be good. You can certainly upgrade it via the app now for Model 3 as well. Can you upgrade the rear seat heaters for Model 3? I think you can, actually. Yeah, that's a good point. Scott says, no different to an ICE engine potentially blowing up after warranty expiration. I'd take an EV. Yeah, isn't it funny how people say I'm worried about the battery exploding or catching fire? You're kind of driving an engine that has flammable fuel in there all the time in your home. Yeah, anyway, I've always found that a bit funny. That's for sure. Hitesh, I think Hitesh asked this before. Tom, when do you think the Model 3 will be refreshed to next 2022 question mark? I don't know, to be honest. I mean, Tesla's not really known for refreshing too often. I think sales are going so strong. I think Model 3 was named at carsales.com.au electric car of the year recently. So demand is definitely there. Supply is the issue. So I don't know if they will probably refresh it. I mean, the Model S has been refreshed this year for the first time since it's ever. So that's like 2012, right? So we're looking at 9 years now. 9 years essentially with no. Well, that's not true. There was a facelift in 2016. So, but it's essentially the same car since 2012. Really, think about that. Here we go. Yes, so people are saying yes, you can add rear heating seats for $500. Yeah, thank you very much, guys, for adding that. That's great. Megatron's got another question. Tom, what would happen to all the EV cars remove batteries if replacing is required, and the Teslas that owners decide not to put a new battery in, will they sit in the yard dump somewhere? Great question. In fact, I think there is a startup in Melbourne called Recycle or something like that. They are looking at battery recycling. And look, I don't think after 8 years the battery's going to go, it's not going to die to zero. Okay, so your range from the curves I've seen, it drops. Okay, initially it does drop, but then it plateaus. It does occur, but it plateaus and drops very slowly. And look, I mean, there might come a point where, yes, it's dropped like 50% maybe, but it's still a good battery. You can certainly keep using the cells for a home battery, for example. And I think that's what these guys in Melbourne are doing. They're adding these cells and refreshing them for commercial use. So I think these cells will be able to be extended, past the life cycle of a vehicle that needs replacing. So yeah, they won't. I don't think they'll sit in a dump somewhere. I think the industry will cope, and will find a way to reuse these batteries. That's for sure. So let's have a look at any other comments. Keep them coming, by the way. Keep them coming. Yes, Charles says re-electrify. That's what it's called. That's the name I was after. And not recycle, re-electrify. Definitely, yep. Second life batteries, indeed. All right, guys. Well, have you got any other questions? Keep them coming. I don't want to finish just yet. Not even up to the hour yet. Some more charging. Explain charging curve for new owners. Yes. Okay. So I will do that. Yep. Wrong button, but thank you, Grattan. Totally right. Explain charging curve for new owners. Yes. So do I use let's use my scribbly pad again. And you guys are groaning like, oh no, he's going to use it again. Yes, he is. He is, unfortunately. But it worked last time, so let's do that. Let's create a new blank screen. Okay, so come on, mouse. Where are you? Here we go. Share screen. Screen 3. Here we go. There we go. Okay. So let's see if I can get this right. By the way, as a disclaimer, I am just a fan. I'm not an engineer, electrician, tech, IT, nothing like that. Okay, so this is just what I've read. And if those of you who are those industries in the chat, pull me up. Definitely pull me up. I want to learn. But this is what I know from. Okay, this is what I know from reading. You can learn a lot from reading. Okay, so on the x-axis, I'll put time. And on the y-axis, I'll put percentage. I guess is percentage the right parameter to use? Maybe just like health of the battery, health, like the charging potential. So obviously, when you get a brand new car at time 0, let's put a 100 up here, just there. It's going to be good, right? It's going to be obviously 100%. And from what I've seen, I think in the first year or two, it does drop. Like, it does drop there. Like, I don't know what this number is, like whether it's 95, 90, I don't know. I don't think it's 90. It's probably more like 95, but it does drop. And then the curve plateaus like this. No, it doesn't do that. Doesn't do that. No, erase this bit. Okay. So it plateaus like this over time. Okay, so what we're looking at, like, I don't know, 8 years, 10 years, whatever the time is here on this bottom bit here. And it's going to drop, right? Not like nothing lasts forever, as we know, but it's not going to go like that. That does not happen, despite what people say. It's going to plateau, and that's been the experience so far. And I'm sure if Tesla ever released their data on their batteries, that's probably what they would show you. And I think most EVs would probably be the same as well. So yeah, I think that's, and feel free to verify for sure. That's what I read anyway. So hey, this thing's not bad. And yes, I'm just going to show you. So Sensei has said, someone send Tom an Apple iPad Pro and Apple Pencil to his PO box. The community thanks you for your kind gift. You feel free to send an Apple Pro, by the way. I'd be happy to receive one. Maybe I need more super messages. But I just wanted to try this app today to see whether it worked. And it works okay. And this is just a cheap pencil from Amazon. If I had an Apple Pro, I would love to have one. Then I can make it easier to draw. But that's not too bad. Yeah, so that's that is the battery degradation curve from what I know. Gaffer says another good point to learn for longer trips is that it's faster to travel distance if you stop more often for faster, smaller recharges. Yes, that's very true, Gaffer. So before I knew about a Better Route Planner, which is a great website, by the way, abrp.com. It's designed specifically for EV owners. It sort of tells you the most efficient way to get from point A to point B. I used to just top up my charging to 80% each trip. And, obviously with young kids, it's fine. If you want to have a drink, have a meal, convenience stop, whatever. But actually, if you've owned an EV long enough, you'll know that the fastest charging rate is actually at the start of the charge curve. So yeah, it's faster at the beginning, and then it tails off as it gets towards 100%. So it's like kind of like a log graph. Yeah, it does that. So yeah, if you want to stay down the bottom of the log graph, you want that quick charging rate, then you're best actually charging to like 50-60% each time. Go to the next destination, charge again. So I think that is the way to do it. And I think for my next road trip, if I ever get out of this state, I will do that. I will probably just charge quicker at the beginning instead of waiting each time, for sure. Yeah, so any other questions here? Paul. Hi, Paul. Paul says, read on Vita Prime Tesla tracking on Twitter that a Model Y was delivered very recently to Tesla AU, assumed for local certification testing. Yes, very, very true. I think there was 2 or 3 Tesla Model Ys delivered, left-hand drive, delivered to Australia for testing. Yes, that's very true. N asks, for a Tesla Model 3, how much time would I expect to go from 20% to 100% for both supercharger and destination charger, taking into consideration the slowdown in charge rate towards the end? First of all, for supercharging, I probably wouldn't go to 100%. For the reasons I said before. If you really want to go to 100% from 20% from experience, you're looking at probably 45 to 50 minutes. Doesn't matter what car you drive, it's going to take about that long. With the destination charger, for an SR Plus, you've got a battery of about 55 kilowatt hours. 80% of that is about 40 kilowatt hours, assuming you've got a 3-phase charger at home, 11 kilowatts. So basically 4 hours. If you've got a single-phase charger, that's probably double that, maybe just a bit, probably 7 to 8 hours. So that's what you're looking at. And yeah, so it makes a difference what charging rate you get, of course. But like I said, I probably wouldn't charge to 100% too often on supercharger or any other DC charger. For destination, again, if you've got an SR Plus, yes, I would probably do it once a week just to keep the battery happy, but probably would do 80% most nights, maybe 100% once a week, as I said before. Yeah, Granton Granton Smith. Hello, Granton. What wall charger do you use at home, Tom? Yeah, so currently I've done a video on this too. I've got a Tesla Generation 3 charger on one side of the garage, and I've got a Tesla Generation 2 charger on the other side of the garage. They don't talk to each other, unfortunately. If I had two Generation 3 chargers, they could potentially do that via Wi-Fi. Yeah, so I don't at the moment. They don't talk to each other, but that's fine. They're both 3-phase. I had that rigged up recently, and they charge very quickly, got to say. And I'm using OptiWatt, which I will talk about another time. Still testing it out, OptiWatt. It's basically a software-based system to tell you when you should charge your Tesla based on your tariff, because I've got a time of use tariff that's cheaper between midnight and 4 a.m. Paul, great question, Paul. Who here has had to replace their 12-volt battery? Right here. Yeah, I've done that once now for my Tesla Model S. A warning came up and which said, yep, get to a service center as soon as possible. Well, it wasn't as soon as possible, but soon. It didn't tell me how much time I had left, but I made an appointment quick smart. So luckily, I'm pretty close to Chatswood, which is my nearest service station, or Tesla service center. And yeah, they did it within like 4 hours. I think I picked it up at lunchtime after dropping it in the morning. No big deal. Very easy to do. Could you do it yourself? Well, yeah. I'm not going to recommend it because I don't know how to do it, but you probably could, I suppose. But no, I'm not going to recommend that. Call Tesla, get it done for you. Yeah. Vinay asks, how much does it cost to charge 0 to 100%? Yeah, great question. Again, it depends on your car battery. So if you've got a standard range plus with a 55 kilowatt hour battery, then superchargers in Australia currently cost 50 cents per kilowatt hour, something like that. So you're looking at $25 per full charge, quote unquote. If you've got a long range or performance that has a 75 kilowatt hour battery, then you're looking at probably 75 times 50 cents. So what's that? $35 to $40 for a full charge. And I think EV Networks charges about the same. ChargeFox is a bit cheaper. NRMA is free. That's the question. That's the answer, yeah. Yeah. Does anyone have leads on secondhand Tesla charger cables? Don't know. I think there's a Facebook group on that on Tesla accessories. So yeah, have a look at that, Gary. Sensei has a question. Will the 2022 right-hand drive Model S and X be made in the USA and shipped to Australia, or will it be made in China? I thought they were made in the USA, I think. I could be wrong there. If anyone has more info, leave a comment. I thought they were Fremont made. That's just what I thought. I thought China was just making 3s and Ys at the moment. Tesla Electron. Great question. Have you ever run out of charge? Tesla tell me they only charge to 50% on pickup, so I expect I'll have to find a supercharger around Alexandria. What's the nearest supercharger from Alexandria? Where are you driving up to, Tesla Electron, by the way? If you're in Sydney, that shouldn't be a problem. If you're driving out of town, then yeah, you probably will have to. The nearest supercharger from Alexandria is Broadway. Broadway has one. Or you can go to what's that place called? That shopping center. I always forget the name. It's got a ChargeFox charger there, so that's the other option. That's 5 minutes away from the Tesla service center. That other one, East Village. That's right, East Village in Alexandria. So that's probably your nearest one in Sydney. Question here from Paul. You can't just use NRMA road service for battery replacement? I don't know. I have not tried. I don't think I would, actually, to be honest. I guess if I was desperate, I could. That's a good question. I'll have to find out for you. Good question. Oh, okay. Granton's answered it. Read 12-volt battery replacement. Another Tesla owner in Orange, New South Wales was able to get a 12-volt battery replaced by a local auto electrician who also works on EVs. Okay, so I think that is the point there. Make sure you know you are getting it serviced from someone in the know, someone who's going to do a good job, basically, who knows EVs before you trust your baby with that person. Okay. Right, let's see if there's any other questions here. Any other comments? Yep, Greg has confirmed Model S and X is made in Fremont, California. Thank you very much. Excellent. Yep, excellent. Thanks for joining us, guys. That's been great today. We've had some good viewers, 83. I'm happy to keep going if you've got any other questions. But we're up to the 1 hour mark. And yeah, thanks for all your comments and questions so far. And thanks for the people who've joined us today. We've had Brent and Ryan as well, some questions online. And yeah, I'll try and do this every week. If you've got any other topics you want me to discuss, I mean, you know, the world is our oyster, right? Like there are so many comments, so many topics that we could discuss every week. And like I said, the aim of this discussion is to try and increase our knowledge base, try and help new owners out there. I realize not everybody watches this live. There will be some people watching it on replay. So if you are watching this on replay, leave a comment. If you've got any other questions I've not touched on tonight on charging, then yeah, please leave a comment. I'll try and answer them after the stream. Otherwise, if you've got any other ideas for videos, for live streams, very happy to do another topic next week. And thank you for all your support, by the way. I'm seeing a lot of thank you and thanks on the live chat. So thank you again. And I hope you are. Yeah, Gaffer says, leave a like. Yes, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'd appreciate that. That helps the channel grow, of course. And happy World EV Day, everyone. And I hope to see you online on Twitter, on Facebook, on my videos. So have a good night, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I'll see you sometime soon. As always, happy charging. Bye now.